Yes. All right. So this morning on the panel we have Randa Robinson. You dealing with two matters: Carnival 2016 and the Rio Olympic Games so far with our actions. So there's no further ado.
Good morning, brothers and sisters of the media, and to those of you viewing us live on our link. First, we're going to begin with a statement by the National Democratic Congress on the performance of our Grenadian athletes at the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. The National Democratic Congress joins with all Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique in extending heartiest congratulations to our hometown hero, Pirani Zero James, on his silver medal performance at the Rio Olympics 2016. The gentle courage, humility, and grace with which this young champion has borne and time and again exceeded the expectations of the people of our nation cannot be overstated and underappreciated. Our party also salutes our King Kirani for being both an inspiration and role model for the youth of our nation. Where once they hoped they could, they now believe they can. Standard against which all other young athletes measure themselves, not only in our country, but across the Caribbean and indeed the world, party leader Nazim Hood said. The NDC also uses this opportunity to call on the government of Dr. Keith Mitchell to do right by our sports ambassador and rename the National Athletic Stadium in his honor, thus fulfilling a promise made to our star before the nation and the world. The Democratic Congress also offers congratulations to Brandon Taplin for his outstanding campaign at the Games, and to the coaches, the Olympic Committee, and all other athletes who represented Grenada. We note that their journey to the Games has been nothing short of amazing, as they all represented us and worked with distinction. In closing, we, like the rest of the country, look on with pride at the athletic brothers, Kurt Felix and Lyndon Victor, as they begin their quest for medals. We have yet another reason to be proud. Grenada to the world. Thank you. Now, on to matters Carnival. We want to congratulate all the administrators and the stakeholders on a much better year for Carnival than 2015, but there is still much to do. We understand the financial constraints of the SMC and we urge the government to support this organization more. Carnival is not a St. George's event. We have to include the parishes in our planning in order to grow the event. One vision for our Spice Mass product. How do we plan to grow this event? How do we plan to leverage stakeholder involvement? Are we engaging the Calypso organizations, PAN or associations, and mass band associations? And mass band, we mean traditional and fancy mass. Engaging them in a non-confrontational manner. What of the cultural foundation? Are they engaged in the process? What is happening with the Calypso Judges Association of Grenada? We note that the shows, some of them started late. Myriad complaints of equipment malfunctions. The shows going on too long. Juve. And foreigners were invited to bring their costumes and come and play mass in Grenada. To the chagrin of some of the mass bands associations and leaders of mass bands. This doesn't happen anywhere. However, we note that our carnival was extremely safe. No incidents, of serious damage or anything, whether it be vehicular accidents or events. So we want to congratulate the authorities on what they have done to keep all of us on track. A number of organizations came out and tried to remind people that we need to drink in moderation and so on and be careful on the roads. And I think for the most part, people have heeded that. We had those of us who participated in the events had a good time, I have to tell you. There still is a long way to go, and we believe that looking on, we have to define what a long-term vision is for our spice mass product. Niggling things that are happening year after year can really be eliminated if we approach the stakeholders, engage them in constructive conversation, and we do a proper critique, and we implement the changes that we find necessary to be able to make this spice mass product a product indeed that we can all be proud of. And the Cultural Foundation, and I was a part of the Emancipation celebrations this year. What took place in town in St. George's, I thought left a lot to be desired. Not the agenda, but from the participation point of view. Wonderful agenda. The people who, it was not marketed enough. People did not come out to support it. And we had Malcolm X's daughter here. We had Eric Matthew Gary present. We had Marcus Garvey's son present as well. And another advocate for the civil rights movement in the US, daughter of actors. I forget the name, Ruby Dee, I think that, and her husband. She was here doing some documentary filming and was a part of that. So the entourage was people who can really make a difference, and well, for want of a better word, almost sons of the soil, And we tried to put on a show in town. That failed in terms of the numbers, but the agenda I agree with. But however, to give them props, the organization for Grenville, later on in the evening in Grenville at 6:30 with the march and the level of the participation that we saw in that event, that cultural event that took place in Grenville in the evening, was expectations. And so I want to commend the Cultural Foundation for that evening's activity. There is a lot that, when we look on at the cultural life of Grenada, that is lacking, that is missing. And so needs to be a vision. What is the marriage between our culture and the tourism product that we put out there? There's just little that is being done there. And so we want to encourage the Cultural Foundation to be able to get in to try to support the arts, cultural arts throughout the parishes at this juncture. I think that if we invest in our people in that way, we can get more out of them, and in a real way. There's too much that is going by the wayside and left to chance in Carnival, and too much that is going by the wayside and left to chance in our villages, and not enough support for the culture. And so we want to encourage the government and all who are, involved in the cultural product to be a little bit more mindful of it and to give it the support that it needs, so that we can all be proud of the product moving forward. With those words, we want to say thank you very much. If there are any questions, we'll take them at this time.
I always have a question. You made a reference to an invitation being extended to individuals to come with their costumes. Can you expound on that a little more?
Well, Actually, it was one of the band leaders who called me upset the fact that people were being, and I believe it was by another band, invited to come with your costume and you will pay, a little fee to jump up in Grenada. This, of course, negatively impacted all the other bands who are indigenous and, and were putting on a product. There are some of our band leaders who, that is what they do. How can you then invite foreigners to come in with their costumes to be a part of a band? When naturally they will come in if you want to play mass, go and purchase a costume in a local band and jump with the local band. And people were quite upset about it. Now, I don't believe that these points of view were nowadays everybody seems to be so touchy about, coming out to the public and making these kinds of statements about negative things that they see affecting them, which is so unfortunate, but that is the reality. And I was able to witness that on Carnival Tuesday evening. Some bands you just couldn't figure out sections or anything. People were just playing in costumes from anywhere. It was, there's a word that the Trinidadians use, coskel. It's just anything goes. It's all over the place, And that is what we witnessed. Is this something that we want to become a feature of Trinidad Carnival? I don't believe that. I think it needs to stop immediately. And so this is what we will propose, that it be discontinued immediately. People want to come and play mass in Grenada, buy a costume from a local, mass band and play.
Mr. Harrier, have you been able to get an idea? Have you spoken to any of the band leaders here or gotten an idea of what the impact was in terms of for today's bands, the diaspora bands, or band or whatever? Have you an idea of the impact?
No. Preliminary chat about, talking to us about what they expected to happen. I suspect there would have been an impact because foreigners come all the time who play mass abroad. As to, comparisons with what would have happened in the last years and now. We will find that out from them. And I think they should probably come out, the Mass Bands Association should come out and speak about it and give that kind of information. But they expected that it was going to negatively impact their own presentations this year.
So the band did not take part in the competition, the local competition.
Right, it did not.
Any support from the government, like concession of the court to bring things in, or any kind of support at all from the state?
I don't know. I don't. And let me see. This is not the first time that you've been hearing as band associations complaining about the number of costumes that are coming in from abroad. People are not employed in making the costumes locally, and so everything is being imported. And perhaps now is the time to sit, to do their own internal reflections and so on, and come together and determine where it is they want to go. And the SMC can be a part, I think, of those discussions, because I think the SMC has the global responsibility for this mass product, and so must have a vision as to where you want to go. There's so much that individuals can do, but it has to be guided by some sort of national, respect of what we want to do for Swaziland. So that we would want to encourage them to get on board with the stakeholders and figure it out. Together we can find a way forward. Anybody else? Well, then we want to say thank you very much for coming out and being a part of the press conference this week. There is going to be one next week. Presently, our party leader is abroad in Canada on business. He ought to be back, I think, tomorrow. I think he is going to be a part of the of our conference next week, along with the party chairman. So we look forward to seeing you then, and we wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Is he real?
No, he's in Canada. Unless there's a Rio in Canada.
Yeah.